hip-hop culture, analog to digital, the DJ. This presentation is by me, of course, Sikaiadah Newton, and it is overseen by DJ Red Alert. This presentation is for Old Dominion University, Spring 2020 for English 701, Text and Technologies, under the guidance and direction of Professor Dr. M. Conkle. Presentation overview, introduction, method of DJing, theory of DJing, the technique, the evolution, text and textual aspects of DJing, the idea of authorship and readership, the question, the answers, we're excited, special thanks, and textual practice. Hip-hop culture emerged as a source for youth of alternative identity, formation, and social status in a community, and that of a built environment. The culture contains the elements of dance known as breaking, rockin' a mic, which is known as MCing, street art and street writing, which is known as graffiti art, body music and body language, which is known as beatboxing, and street fashion and street language, as it also incorporates the DJ. Of this craft, some of the pioneers are DJ Kool Herc, Afrika Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, DJ Red Alert, and many others. To rewind, before being coined as DJs, DJ Kool Herc attended Alfred E. Smith Auto Mechanic Trade School. Afrika Bambaataa organized and promoted block parties and breakdancing competitions around the Bronx. Grandmaster Flash learned how to repair electronic equipment at Samuel Gumper's Vocational High School. And DJ Red Alert, who attended Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, ended up, if we rewind just a little bit, doing blueprints for a drafting company until computer automation rendered his job obsolete. To fast forward, the DJs of hip-hop are different from any other because they perform artistically by cutting, mixing, and scratching the lyrical content and all of its recorded formats. DJing includes speaking and rapping while knowing the moods of an audience, while exploring music during musical presentations to inspire and express the desire and ability to create, modify, and or transform music technology. The method of DJing. When reviewing the method of DJing, the elements of this craft can be examined in qualitative manner and the scope of narrative and phenomenological via the concept of oral tradition. To explain, both methods are qualitative because they allow the art of DJing to be explored in a scientific aspect in which numbers or numerical data are not collected, as the research method allows for DJs to be analyzed in their natural settings while working to understand how they implement the technique. Narrative applies to the technique of this artistic skill because when DJs cut, mix, and or scratch, they are blending musical elements to compose a poetic story that is transmitted through sound, whether that be analog and or digital. Phenomenological applies to the technique of this artistic skill because when DJs compose a poetic story that is transmitted through sound, they are living in the personas of the ancestors by extending the practice of oral tradition. To support the explanations given, Trisha Rose, the author of Black Noise, Rap Music, and Black Culture in Contemporary America, said, "Rap's oral articulators are heavily informed by technological processes, not only in the way such oral traditions are formulated, composed, and dismantled, but also in the way orally based approaches to narrative are embedded in the use of the technology itself. Alternatively, and to consider an additional perspective on the method of DJing, one may say that a quantitative method may be considered in this craft because the data, which are vinyl records and or digital downloaded tracks that they spin on the ones and twos known as the turntables, holds numerical qualities to specify the length or duration composed of beats, which connects with the artist who blesses the track with his or her lyrical flow. However, for DJs to be able to compose a narrative that is prominent to oral tradition and that of the ancestors, they base their craft on sensory awareness, which allows them to be attuned to the beat, which is the bass line, the drums, and of course the breaks of analog and or digital tracks. For this reason, their method aligns more with that of qualitative arrangement that allows for a more objective study of their artistry. So the theory of DJing, according to the scientist of the ones and twos, Grandmaster Flash, he has coined two theories that pertain to this craft. One, you have the twerk theory, and then you have, for number two, the quick mix theory.
I put a pen on it in the state of inertia. It went to full speed in a quarter of a turn. So, a horrible turntable will take a full turn before it's up to speed. So, if I put the wafer on the platter and then the record on the wafer and try to go counterclockwise and let the record go, it would go. So that turntable didn't pass the test. So 4 bars forward equals 6 counterclockwise revolutions equals full loop. This is the basics, the fundamentals to the quick mix theory. When I figured this out, that you are playing this like an instrument, this theory is now the basic formula to today what is known as turntablism, because it is totally impossible to do the things that you do without your finger on the fader and the vinyl at the same time. Some do it amazingly crazy today and powerful and make amazing music with it. They're playing it like an instrument. But the Ebro, you also have to understand, this is why I said this when I seen you. It also is arguably the actual beginning of what is known today as rap. Because it is impossible for the MC to tell their story on top of the verse and the chorus and the bridge and all the singing. They need a complete bed of music. And back then, there was no computers, no PC, no Mac, no social media, no studio, no nothing. It had to be done with just 2 copies of vinyl and flash.
The technique, which is based on the execution of the quick mix theory.
I want you to count with me. I want you to count with me. All right. Count with me. Count with me.
the evolution. So we go from digging into crates, which is going to be the first video I show you, to going digital, and that'll be the second video. The evolution, going from analog, which would be the first video, going to digital, which would be the second video.
That was an analog way of doing things. So, this is where it emerged to. Let's take this to the digital age. I'm going to reset that, right? And we're going to see what's good. And we're going to go.
Text and textual aspects of DJing. Text, the science of technology, the study of the implementation of the technology. The main object, or the main object are the turntables, and secondary object are the speakers, along with the components that make sure the technique is implemented. Text continued. For materials, via Grandmaster Flash's Hot 97 video presentation are the needle, which is conical, and that's shaped like a screw. It sits in the grooves when going counterclockwise. You can't use the elliptical needle, since this is shaped like a J. The woofer, or the woofer, which is a slip mat now. You have the twerk theory. You have the peekaboo system, which now they call cueing. You also need the headphones to be attuned into what's going on with the turntables, what's being played, or before it's being played to come through. Then you need duplicate copies of the records, which are the vinyls. Recall the drum beats, 10 seconds. Then you have to put your fingertips on the records. Use a crayon to mark the area of where the get down part lived, which is the block. And then you have the intersector plus the secular, which now they call the cueing points. Textual. When considering McGann, he has an ideology that the author holds the control of a text and its meaning. of this craft, the author is the DJs, as they have clout over the steady beat that is played via analog or digital for the text, which is spoken, of the artist to have a place to render content over such beat. The steady beat of the DJs gives meaning to the track. According to Grandmaster Flash, the DJ came before the rapper. The idea of authorship and readership. Authorship to this artistry is the creator, because the DJ conducts the beat, which creates the track, which is the sound that is delivered in the format of analog or digital sound waves. Readership to this craft is listenership, because the people, whether that be of the culture or the general public, listen or are able to listen to the mix of the DJ as it can transmit at a club, house party, which now is known as kickbacks, or over the airwaves of a radio station. For this reason, or in these contextual settings, the DJ does not violate copyright laws, because the artistry of the craft is covered under the membership of ASCAP, MBI, and the general right to purchase musical tracks for mixes. Wanted, dead or alive, in hip-hop culture, the DJ as the creator lives. So to Barthes, the DJ creates the narrative, so he or she rules on the one and twos as the listener vibes out to the tracks played from the birth of the culture that lives on due to oral tradition, and that was created by the ancestors. And to Foucault, the DJ is forever connected to his or her composed musical discourse, because the mixes are authentic to the specific DJ due to the technique. In other words, the DJ implies an action that is always testing the limits of its regularity, transgressing, and reversing an order that accepts and manipulates, or that it accepts and manipulates. The question: how does DJing relate to writing and reading? The answers. 1. The DJ brings written content composed of musical notes and or of lyrical utterances through the art form of sound waves that can be analog or digital. 2. The art of DJing relates to reading, because the craft is implemented through an audio action that interprets musical notes and or lyrical utterances that were once based from the roots of the ancestors and that of oral tradition. This is my works cited page. I have to give special thanks to the legendary DJ Red Alert for agreeing to oversee this project. I'm so forever grateful for the love of hip hop, and I appreciate you. Fresh Radio for making sure that Grandmaster Flash came to the Boathouse in Newport News, Virginia. So I thank all three of you that I just mentioned. And now we're going to get into our textual practice. Alright, so for a textual practice, of course I'm using my phone, kind of like we did for the week of typewriter. I went to Google Play Store, thank you Sprint, also thank you Android. Anyway, if you'll see, I still have the typewriter app on my phone. Let me adjust the camera so you can see. I have the DJ Mix Effects one, and I have a Groove Pad one, so you can choose whatever one you like after you go to your store to see what you have in your archive in your phone. So since we're talking about DJing first, I'll go to this, then we'll go to our Groove Pad. So as you can see, I downloaded the app, and now it's preparing. You already see on my turntables, I have a vinyl here, and then I have a vinyl over here. So I've already picked a selection. Both of them say hip-hop at the top. They're two different tracks. In the middle, you see how I can balance, bring it up and down. You see how I can sync, how I equalized it. I've already equalized that track. I've already equalized this track. Then this adds effects to the track if I so choose. So I'll play one track first so you can hear it. And then I can bring it all the way down, all the way up. I'll pause it and play my other track. Alright, so you hear it. I can bring it all the way down, all the way up. Alright, now what I'm going to do is play both of them at the same time now so you can kind of hear it. It's going to sound crazy, and remind you I'm not a DJ. So what I'm going to decide to do is to bring this track down some. Then I'm going to add some special effects. And I'll hit that. Alright, now you can hear it. So I'll bring it over here. You hear all of that. And I'm going to bring it back over here. Alright. So now, let's see if I can attempt to DJ. Alright, so I don't know if you can hear it on what I'm doing, but if you can, turn up the volume. If not, I totally understand it. Let me center this back again and try to adjust my camera. And in the middle, you can hit record if you would like to. So, and if you can see up here, it tells you what's going on with your track. Alright, so I'll take off my effects. Now. Alright, so that's that app. I'm going to go out of the app. Show you another app if you would like to use it. Alright, so the groove pad. Let's see if I can center. Oopsie. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. And you too can record yourself. I don't know if screenshots will work, so also have a family member maybe record you. Alright, so let's start with voice. I'm going to go to the other side. That you can use. Alright, so that concludes my textual practice. Enjoy.